Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. So it has come to my attention that Mustafa Ali has asked for his WWE release. And normally I wouldn't do a video on this, but I do feel like this needs to be done due to just say a blanket comment for, pretty much a lot of the wrestlers that have been released or are going to ask for their release. I'm not going to do a video on every single person simply because it's just going to be overwhelming. So here's what we're going to do. I am going to, when I see people saying so-and-so was a great talent, WWE missed the boat on them, they have so much talent, yada, yada, yada. Here's my blanket opinion of all of that stuff. Talk to me in a year. All right? No wrestler gets any love being under the WWE banner until they leave. The first 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 60 to 90 days, they get all the love in the world. In a year, you barely hear a peep out of them. All the people who loved them are gone, or they don't pay attention to them, especially if they don't go to AEW or something like that. Then it's almost impossible to find them in a stack of other wrestlers. Specifically about Mustafa Ali, he's a good guy, he's a good talent, he's a good promo, he's a good wrestler. But he is not main event material for WWE. He's too small. He has no discernible character. He has no mean streak. There was just nothing about him that screams that he should have been a main event guy in WWE. And that's okay. It's all right. Because, yes, he could have been better utilized as a mid-card act. There's nothing wrong with him being an Intercontinental Champion, being a United States Champion, or something like that. He definitely should have been in the conversation for those titles. WWE has decimated their own mid-card. Nobody would disagree with that. All right? Every single person that has been released from WWE had, for the most part, even the ones that you don't like, even they had some potential in WWE's mid-card somewhere, either as a tag team or as something else. Ali, they did a couple of different things with him. Retribution, of course, was the biggest of the things that they did with him, outside of his feud with Daniel Bryan. And it did not click. It didn't get over. He was put in the face of Retribution. Some people will say it was the idea itself that failed. Some people will say that Mustafa Ali himself failed. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is it didn't work. And then afterwards, they really didn't have anything for him to do. He did do something pretty cool with Mansoor. I like the storyline with Mansoor. But it just wasn't. There was always going to be something there. And the guy had been on the roster since 2015 or 2016 or something like that. I think he's one of the guys they brought in from the Cruiserweight Classic. So it's been about 4 or 5 years. There's nothing wrong with a guy saying, look, I'm never going to get over the hump here. It's time for me to go and seek my fortunes elsewhere. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I support it for most wrestlers who are stuck in a rut for 4 or 5 years. Leave. I support you leaving. If you've been stuck in the same place for 4 or 5 years and you're unhappy about it, leave. At that point, WWE becomes a dead-end job. Because it's completely different like every other wrestling promotion. Every other wrestling promotion, they do what, as Dana White says about boxing, it's a going out of business sale. When you go to something like GCW or something like that, there's very little in the way of storylines. You're being brought in mainly to do 1 show or 2 shows a weekend, in a month or whatever. And then you go flutter around and do something else. WWE is going to be there next year. It'll be there in 2 years. It'll be there in 3, 4, 5 years. The guy's like in his early 30s, I think. If he leaves, and becomes a big star somewhere else, he can always have the opportunity to come back. Or he can leave and seek his fortunes in AEW. Who knows? I don't begrudge people for leaving and going to AEW. I'm not one of those kinds of people. I think that everybody deserves to have the opportunity to go do whatever it is they want to do. But I believe in also telling the truth about people. I did see somebody say, it must be exhausting saying that everybody sucks when they leave WWE. I was like, nobody is telling you that these people suck. What they're saying is, we're looking at the potential. What did we see out of them? Sometimes people have potential. Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, Tony Storm, and WWE lets them get away. Sometimes they have no potential whatsoever. They were never going to get over the hump due to lack of promos, lack of character, lack of size, or something like that. Ali falls into that category. He was entirely too small. He was never going to get any bigger. Even if his promos were good, which they were, even if he found a marketable character, he was never going to get much bigger than he is right now, physically. And that was going to hold him back. WWE, whether you call it outdated, outmoded, old-fashioned, whatever you want to say, WWE has a specific criteria for their main event acts. Mustafa Ali did not check enough of those boxes. So he is smart. This is making a smart decision. He is leaving. Especially if I saw the conversation between him and Vince, supposedly, where Vince told him he was too nice. He didn't believe he had it in him. It. Whatever it is. If I was to guess, I would say a mean streak. And maybe that was the purpose of turning him heel, to see if he had a mean streak. But ultimately, I can buy that conversation, and your boss doesn't believe in you, that you would leave. If everybody hates dead-end jobs, if WWE becomes a dead-end job for you, to the fact where you're showing up or you're not being utilized, which is his problem. His problem is he wasn't being utilized, not in what he was doing, but that he was not being able to do anything, then leave. I fully support that idea. You know, don't work in dead-end jobs. If you work in Walmart and you've been stacking boxes for 5 years and you want a promotion and the boss says no, walk out. You know, that's what it's all about. Go seek your fortunes elsewhere. Don't make yourself miserable. Make life easy on yourself. I mean, the guy hopefully has put some money aside. He's got a beautiful wife, beautiful family. He just had another kid. You know, that's a little, you know, that would be me though. You know, he has to have faith in himself. If it were me, I would be like, damn, I just had a second baby. Maybe, you know, maybe another 2 years, you know, maybe. But he might have already something lined up. I mean, I know that it's illegal for them to contact other promoters. Like, come on. We know these guys do that stuff. We know these guys call their friends and say, hey, yeah, you know, if you quit, I got this thing set up for you here, over here, whatever. Go ahead, wait your 90 days out or whatever the case may be, and we'll bring you in. I'm not saying that that's happened. I'm saying that it can happen. You can't prove that it's not happening. I think WWE is what is going on with them directly is they are underutilizing talent on purpose. They have tons of talent. Even after they released 200 people, they still have tons of talent that they do not use. Every week I sit here and talk about them. Where's Apollo Crews? Where's Xia Li? Where's Aaliyah? Where's, you know, this person or that person? Where's Veer? Where's all these people that, you know, you keep showing vignettes after vignette after vignette of these people and they don't show up? WWE is doing this to themselves. It's not necessarily on the talent. Mustafa Ali was willing to be pushed on TV, wants to do something. WWE doesn't want to do anything. So guess what? He has every right to want to leave. Then leave. I support him. But I'm also not going to say that they missed out on some huge main event star. Not this time. No. They missed out on a very solid long-term mid-card star. Another Kofi Kingston of sorts. Right? They missed out on that. And guess what? That's kind of not really that big of a deal.
Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair.